Hello and welcome to week 5 of Introduction to Early Childhood Education. This week we're going to be moving on and looking at a group of people that are extremely important in early childhood education, and that is the teachers. So you're going to find as you go through the information in the textbook as well as what's on Blackboard that there's so much more to being a teacher other than just coming up with lesson plans and teaching the children. The chapter is really going to show you the different aspects of being a good teacher. So the roles that teachers might play, the professional standards that we are held to by NACE, abiding by the code of ethical conduct, being an evaluator of our own teaching, being a reflective teacher, what it's like to be in a team teaching situation, how to collaborate with other teachers, the teacher assistants in your classroom, what staffing can look like in an early childhood center. There is a lot of information in this chapter, but it's a lot of practical information that I hope is going to be helpful to you. So this week, what I have in Blackboard for you is I wanted to start you out with a laugh. This is Studio C. I don't know if you've ever seen them on YouTube before, but they're one of my favorites simply because sometimes they are saying out loud what the rest of us are thinking. So this was their take on the worst kindergarten teacher ever. So this is everything not to do. So hopefully you will enjoy it. It's really quick. So as you go through this chapter, make sure that you read the chapter, review the PowerPoint slides, but I also gave you another document that I want you to look through, and it's called the Virginia Career Lattice. In the state of Virginia, for early childhood education, we actually have a chart that shows you how you can move up the ranks as you are continuing your education and your experience in early childhood. So the reason that I put this in here this week was because I wanted you to see where you are currently and then decide where you're going to want to go from here. So the great thing about this lattice is that there are 9 steps. And so you can see that the steps are all up here. And for each one of the steps, it tells you, what licensing requirements are, high school education, any other education, any experience that's required, and if there's a credential that is required as well. One of the things to notice, you're going to see on here a lot of CDA. That is actually a credential that is required by Head Start, but here at TCC, we actually have a certificate. It's our preschool certificate that actually exceeds the requirements for the CDA, and we actually have confirmation from Head Start that if a student were going into a job where they are required to have a CDA, that our preschool certificate satisfies that requirement. So it's not an additional set of coursework. But it's good for you to know that it's not something extra that you're going to have to do. As long as you are working towards the different certificates and you work towards that preschool certificate, you will satisfy the CDA requirements. But the great thing to see is that there are 9 steps, as I mentioned. If you go through our associate degree program, it already puts you at step 6. So every time that you move a step up this lattice, it is a step up in the field, which normally means a step up in pay. So every time that you are gaining another credential, this 12 credit community college certificate, that's our first certificate. That's the one that includes CHD 120, CHD 145, which is the art, music, and movement course, CHD 205, which is guiding the behavior of young children, and then Health 135, which is child health, safety, and nutrition. That is step 4. Once you have the certificate, our 1-year certificate, you're at step 5. Then again, the associate degree is step 6. And then your further degrees are going to get you further up the ladder. But again, this is a great document just to save so that you can kind of see what you are capable of, what requirements are going to need to be met. And so that's the reason that I wanted you to have access to this document for this week. And then here is our PowerPoint. So the discussion board for this week is one that is not going to require you to do a lot of research, but I think it's really important that we reflect on the teachers that we've had. So this week, your discussion board is asking you about your favorite teachers. What was it about them that made you really like them? Did they influence you in any way to be able to want to go into this field, give you any advice along the way? I would hazard a guess that most of us would say that along our journey in education, we have had at least one teacher, if not more, who have really motivated us and helped us get through maybe a tough time, a tough subject. And so we really are kind of paying homage to them as we are going into education as well. That being said, even though I'm not asking you to write about it, I know that we have probably all had experiences where we had not so great teachers, ones that did not motivate us, ones that did not encourage us, ones who actually discouraged us, maybe made us not like school. And what we take from that is that we want to be different. We want to be the teachers that our students remember, that they want to come back to, and maybe even want to be a teacher just like us. So that really is kind of the purpose of this discussion board, is just to kind of share our experiences of the great teachers that we've had along the way. So that's going to be it for this week. Like I said, we're going to be looking at the teachers. Next week, we're going to be moving into the physical environment. So once you learn what you need to do in order to be a great teacher, now we're going to talk about what we need to actually have in our classroom and to use in our classroom. And so that will be next week. So this week I will be grading your inclusion projects. I hope that you enjoyed viewing the videos and reading the article, because it really does remind us that we want to make sure that our classrooms are fully inclusive and that it's beneficial to all students, not just the students with special needs. So have a fantastic week, and I will see you in week 6.